Hello and welcome to another episode of Anime Explained. I'm Shergog, your host, and today we are going to take a closer look at Nanahoshi and how she came to be at the renowned Academy of Magic, or rather, how she became quite rich and influential despite being just a normal girl, without any crazy boosts or boons she received when coming to this new world. But before we are going to do so, let me quickly thank my Patreons for supporting this channel, as well as say thanks to all users of the YouTube thanks function for making one-time donations. And now with that said, let's get to the topic at hand. Nanahoshi Shizuka, or Silent Sevenstar, did not get into the renowned Academy of Magic because she is a skilled or famous magician or had political contacts like rudeus, but because she traveled with and had access to letters of recommendation to something quite similar. Nanahoshi Shizuka, or Silent Sevenstar, did not get into the renowned Academy of Magic because she is a skilled or famous magician, but because she traveled with and had access to letters of recommendation from Orsted, the second of the 7 great powers, and a man who is feared and hated by every single being from this world, and because she is quite rich. Nanahoshi also is completely unable to cast any spells or use any magic item that requires her to expand mana, because she simply has none. She arrived with the same mana pool that she had in her own world, which is literally 0, and she relies on her magic rings and of course on Orsted for protection. But despite this, she was able to buy her way into influential positions and into her status as a special student, thanks to her wealth. And simply speaking, Nanahoshi made her money as a businesswoman, and her influence reached far enough to reroute entire trade routes and optimize the effectiveness of existing ones. And of course she would keep a cut of the profits for herself. But again, it initially seemed strange for Nanahoshi to being able to do this, since again she had no mana, and therefore could not use magic on her own. And when she had arrived during the teleportation accident, she was just standing there on a field. But everything changed when she was found by Orsted, who was presumably also standing on a field, maniacally, at least from the perspective of the new world. And since she was not affected by Orsted's curse, and since Orsted witnessed something unprecedented, Nanahoshi was allowed to tag along Orsted, which is why both could be seen traveling together and eventually encountering Rudy and his party together. But traveling with a being everybody else literally hates and fears made it really necessary for her to quickly master the language of the new world she was now in, which she had done so in just 1 year. Still, it seems quite a bit unlikely that Nanahoshi, even with all of her modern knowledge and education, is simply able to reroute entire trading routes by herself, which again is true. But again, she was not by herself, but was backed by Orsted. And being backed by one of the 7 great powers is such a incredible boon that I really need to illustrate it. Imagine a magic caster is reverse isekai to our world, and somehow the entire nuclear arsenal of the United States of America is backing him up, which is indeed roughly the equivalent to Orsted. Now imagine the caster goes to some cheap ink maker in Europe, where production costs are really low, and convince the ink maker, thanks to his letter of recommendation, to seize a business opportunity. So he ramps up the ink production. And then the caster goes to another part of Europe and makes it pretty clear to some elected officials that he is literally backed by all of the nukes of the United States, and that they really need to ban proprietary ink cartridges, which they do. And as soon as the law has passed, your cheap ink is flooding the market, the cartridges sales are going through the roof, and every time a cartridge is sold, the caster gets a few pennies out of it. And finally, he has earned, let's say, 10 million euros, which is then afterwards invested in businesses, homes, and everything else that turns a reliable and predictable profit. The people are now happy that the printer ink is cheap, the cheap ink producer is happy that he sells way more, and the economic of scale makes cartridges even cheaper. The politician can now be sure to be re-elected since everybody hates expensive printer ink, and they solve the problem. And the companies behind the expensive printer ink are also happy because they did not get nuked. Now granted, thanks to the companies now earning way less on printer ink, they now need to ramp up printer prices, eventually, because they oftentimes sold under their own production costs, but that's a topic for another video. And similarly to my example in our world, some noble, some port authority, or some monopolist in the world of Mushoku Tensei is also now happy that their chest area did not lose its virginity to Auster's fist, while everybody else gets more sales, new goods, or cheaper prices, thanks to the newly established trade routes and caravans from Nanahoshi. This wealth and being backed by Orsted also allowed her to accumulate quite a few other contacts, making her somewhat politically influential. Now, Nanahoshi and Orsted also traveled via teleportation devices found in old ruins that are still in working order. So rather than having to march all the way from one point to another, Orsted and Nanahoshi traveled just from one portal to another, and therefore she could cover way more ground than Rudy, Ares and Rujet ever could in the same amount of time. So she therefore could develop trade and establish far-reaching contacts without traveling all that long. Again, relative to Rujet, Ares and Rudy. And with this little explanation finished, now it's your turn. Please let me know your thoughts and ideas about the video and about how Nanahoshi had made her money down in the comment section. While I say thank you very much for watching and special thanks to Ada Daddy Ada, Bad Guy Ye, Bad Burrito 316, Bezer, Ben C, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Dragonlord Plasi Du Saxophone, Duckwagon, Dunkler Krieger, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Feralchivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J. Morris, Chromius, Kyle R, Lee K. Long, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Lothrazer, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, oh hell no, Normal Toad, O'Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantum, Personage, Primus 11, Rhinomere, Q&A Caracos P, Shergox is Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Staris, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rocket Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito 27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Xenukai, and Zonagon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video.